Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm live. Forgot. Hello. Hello. It's Vacavid, and I am joining you live from my vacation spot, my back porch. Well, that's what I got to talk about. Waiting on Mr. Matt Stokey. He's having technical issues. So who we got in the house? Make a little comment for me. Vacation. Making some notes. Got two people in the house. Welcome to Friday Recap. Happy Friday. And we're waiting on Matt Stokey to join us in just a minute. So I'm joining you from my vacation spot, my back porch. So, oh, wait, there he is. I'm adding him. There he is. Hi. You're live.
It's been harrowing. It's just been harrowing.
The whole week.
Oh my God.
Well, welcome.
I've gone for a total of like 5 hours this week without internet at all. And God help us if we ever should come to such a thing.
What? Wow, that will make the quarantine and the lockdowns unacceptable.
The other night I had to watch a DVD.
So, okay, so that's a great point that I would like to talk about with the music industry eventually on another. Maybe we can talk about it today. Are CDs a thing of the past? I'm convinced they are. Convinced.
We talked to Anton about that.
We did. And so a little preview for next week. We did talk about that. Let's see. Facebook user says yes. Oh, I don't know who you are, Facebook user.
Oh, I know. I hate that.
Oh, she's waving at me. She's right behind the camera waving at me. So Facebook user says thing of the past. All right, so happy Friday. You're kind of like me this week. This is sort of a nice reversal. I've been just relaxing, staycationing.
Yes, I know. Are you at your mom and dad's?
No, I'm on my back porch.
When are you going to Florida?
Well, that got torpedoed because of our COVID thing, remember? So
yes,
I was going to talk about that. I was just about to talk about that while I was waiting for you to tune in. So, yes. So last week, an employee at Insignia was tested positive. I came in contact with that employee a little bit that week that they tested positive. So we locked down the office. We sent everybody home. We sent everybody to the testing facility. Right. I've been tested. I got tested last Sunday. And unfortunately, frustratingly, my results are not back yet. So I have literally sat at home all week. No, staycationing. And I don't know. I still don't know. But I have no symptoms. I'm absolutely fine. My wife is absolutely fine. Michelle is absolutely fine. So yeah, I've been relaxing and chilling and doing some project work, which has been fun.
Well, that's
really
important because you hadn't had any kind of break.
No, this was my first legit break.
Yeah, it hasn't been a total reversal. I've been more busy this week, which has been very, very nice. It's been very nice to have some projects to work on and some things to look forward to and some potential business things for maybe the fall. But just starting to kind of get the ball rolling so that hopefully by the end of the summer, when most businesses have gotten back going here, and if indeed, as has been prognosticated by some of my medical friends, that New York is less susceptible to the second wave or the continued first wave, that I think we'll be better positioned here to have more opportunities to do things. So I'm hoping that one of those things is me. I don't like being unemployed. That's why I run my own business, is that I don't like waiting around for the next gig. As an actor, it's one of the reasons why I always wanted to do something else, was because I just didn't like sitting around waiting for my agent to call, and right now it's even worse. It's like, because it's just not going to happen. I mean, there's going to be some TV things that pop up, but not enough. And there's too many actors. I mean, now every actor who used to do nothing but stage, we're all going to want to be like, well, I want to be on TV now. So I'm looking forward to doing something. And if it means something completely different, then so be it. Because a friend of mine, my friend V. Paul Boyle, who hopefully will be on the show with us one of these weeks, he said, something we don't have in the United States, which they have in Europe, is called a gap year, where after high school, before college, all the students, they do something else. Yeah. Which I think is absolutely brilliant, because so many of our students in the United States end up going to college and wasting 2 years going, why did I major in marine biology? I don't want to do that. And then you've also wasted $100,000. So he said, I hate to be the bearer of continued kind of bad news, but we're not going to have consistent theater work maybe for a year.
Yeah.
It's going to come back, but it's going to be a while, and it'll be more streamlined. It'll be better off, but let's not kid ourselves. Shit is not starting up in the fall, and most likely not starting up in January.
You said something that reminded me of something that influenced me early on in my journey. I was a graphic designer out of college, and I hung my own shingle to do graphic design. And I hated the job to job hop. Yep. And one of my major focuses was get rid of the job to job hop and develop something that could be consistently paying me. And that's where the internet and software sort of found me. So I get it. I felt that exact same thing of the hop to hop, and that's frustrating. So,
and it's what we all sign up for. I mean, we're unemployed for more parts of our lives than we're employed. And we know that. So also at times like this, it's not as shocking to be out of work. I mean, some people have been working the same job for 20 years. I've had 300 jobs in 25 years, and, and that's great. It's what we sign up for. It's 100%. There's no job security, none.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little bit easier, and almost makes you look at people when they're out of work, just like, what's the big deal? I've spent half of my adult life being unemployed. But to most people, they would never choose to do what I do because of that very thing.
Right. Yeah. I think there are a lot. I think the majority of people want to have a consistent paycheck. I think there is a subset of human beings that are okay with the jump, the risk. Yeah.
Well, and most people's parents want them to have a steady paycheck. Most people's families, it's anybody who does this for a living, anybody who chooses any of the arts for a living, for the most part, you got to have a family that signs off on it and says, I get it. My mom was the best. She wanted her 2 boys just to be happy and do what they wanted to do. Not, when are you guys going to get married and settle down and give me grandchildren? She was not that. She was, as long as my boys are healthy and happy and doing what they want to do, then so be it. And I chose the all-time do your own thing, kind of thing. So right now I'm not used to being unemployed for this long, because even if I'm not doing a theater gig, I go out of town and I shoot pictures, or I go somewhere and I teach classes, and I can generate. I did it in February. I was gone for almost the whole month, and I went to Los Angeles and Pittsburgh, and I can go out of town and make 2 or 3 months rent shooting pictures and teaching. So that's what I'd be doing now. If I wasn't working in a theater gig right now, I'd make my own. I'd probably be in Florida. I'd be staying with the Wilsons, and visiting the Stringers.
So shout out to Alice, who's on. Hello, Alice. And we got some other folks in, and so let's recap the episode with Richard Blanch. Did anybody catch that in the audio podcast? Oops!
Don't call me Richard Blake.
I told you this, so I'll tell our audience this. I left that in the audio podcast because of your laugh. The laugh.
You told me, yeah.
The laugh was so it was like that laugh was so perfect. I have to leave that whole mess up of mine in because it's pretty funny.
You love that.
So Richard, he's like I call him the top 1% of 1% of entrepreneurs.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I was texting with Valerie Lauki-Lai, who's going to be on our show, and Val has certainly made a life for herself. And she said, I just listened to your show with Rich Blanch. She said, I'm incredibly intimidated.
Intimidated? We were overwhelmed. I mean,
I've known the guy for 27 years, and I've worked with him in almost all these jobs that he does. But when you hear him really get into the nuts and bolts of it, he makes things sound so simplistic, and yet you have to have him repeat sentences like,
yeah.
Oh, what? Okay. Should I know
well,
that?
I learned something from that podcast that I'm so grateful that we're doing this, and I'm so grateful we're talking to so many different people because it's a great way to learn. I mean, I learned something from that podcast, and
my God,
I always knew relationships were important, but I've never really known how to foster them and care for them. And I am constantly now thinking about relationships with people and my employees and everybody, customers and anybody that I'm coming in contact with. I'm thinking about how can I foster and care for that relationship with this person, because I think that's the secret to his success is freaking relationships.
Yeah. I mean, I remember you saying that as we were kind of just initially looking back on it, just kind of like, oh my God, that aspect of business, which I don't think goes overlooked, but can maybe be undervalued or something, and it's something that I've learned, in a small way in running even my photography business, how frustrating it must be to other people. Like if casting directors call someone and they don't call them right back, or if it's like any kind of business thing where it's like, I'll get back to them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Could be the difference between having a client or not having a client. It really could. And I've always known Rich to be that guy, who's, you also have to learn relationships quick in the restaurant. Yes, in the restaurant biz.
Yeah.
For sure, Alice.
I was just gonna comment. Go ahead, finish your thought, and then I was gonna comment on
that. It's oftentimes the very small details. Yes, the level that Rich works on is something that, as you said, the top 1%. But it's exactly the same. It's the personal relationships. It doesn't matter who you're rubbing your elbows with.
100%.
It's just that important. Yeah.
100%. And yeah, Alice, I think it's easy to get lost, as Matt was saying, the simplicity that Rich represents in what he's doing. And then once you really stop and understand what kind of an entrepreneur he is now, it's like that's a level we all want to be at. And what I mean by that is what an amazing opportunity to sit in the room with very smart people with patents, with protectable intellectual property, and go, what should we do with this today?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like, dream up a way to use it. That's I geek out on it every time I think about it. Like I truly think that's where I would like to end up, is in a room like that, where I could just sit back with a group of people and say, all right, this is a cool idea. How do we take this idea and just explode with it?
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. And I mean, usually entrepreneurs come at it with like, okay, I have an idea. I have an idea for a dog bowl that, monitors your health and monitors the health of the dog and monitors the water and all this kind of stuff. That's usually how entrepreneurs start, right? And then they go figure out the technology to make that happen. Well, he's coming at it at a totally different angle. He's like, I could stick this sensor in a dog bowl and it could tell me what the hell's going on with the dog. It's like,
yeah, when you think about practical applications, you don't know where the microchip came from. It was from some other reason you know, that all of a
Yeah.
sudden, or I mean, look at when you know when they discovered the Electron, and they were like, we don't have any use for it.
Right. This sensor was in Apollo 13, and it sensed, you know, the air condensation. And so, is there a way to like use this sensor?
Yeah.
In a dog bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, if you think about when the Electron was discovered, there was like, what are we going to use that thing for? Like, okay, we discovered it,
right?
You know, and now within 30 years, the whole world was based on electronics. But if you look at what Rich is doing with this thing, you're like, that's a very you don't think it's as highbrow as you would expect from guys who are doing that. Like, really, a dog bowl? Like, don't you want to you know, reinvent cold fusion or some shit? You know, no, because when you see what happens with this, and if we get it right, the practical applications are going to define themselves.
Exactly.
Like a dog bowl. Explain that to me. And then when he started explaining it to us, both of us were like, what? Okay.
That may have been my face.
Now he wants to use it with me to monitor my breakfast cereal.
I saw that. That's awesome. I would sign up for that. That's pretty cool.
Look what I did right off the bat when he got in there and said, I'm going to monitor your breakfast cereal. What did I do? I threw y'all a big freaking curveball and told you how I combine Golden Grahams and chocolate Cheerios to make s'mores in a bowl.
But do we care?
But it starts there, Dave. It starts there. It's the small application. It's the small application, just like, oh my God, that guy's crazy. He puts Golden Grahams and chocolate Cheerios in the same bowl. Nuts.
That was like another one that what is like the Froot Loops? There's a Froot Loops combo that's out there. That's like Froot Loops with like Fruity Pebbles or something like that.
Well, Froot Loops, as we have discovered a couple years ago, is a total scam.
What?
Froot Loops. They're all the same flavor.
What?
Who's listening?
Michelle's laughing in the back.
It's true. Froot Loops got totally busted within like the last 5 years. They got busted.
Really? It's all the same flavor?
Froot Loops are all the same flavor, just different colors.
My mind is blown. I'm just gonna have to.
Our entire childhoods were complete frauds.
I know. I'm gonna have to.
Frauds.
Wow, I'm stunned. I don't know what to say with that. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna have to buy a box of Froot Loops and like try it out. I used to eat Froot Loops all the time in college. I got sick of eating Froot Loops.
Wait, a cool bird just landed right behind your head.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
The blue jay?
No, unfortunately it's a catbird. We have a lot of them. It's the nasty ones that, you know, scream at you and they'll attack you. I had one attack me outside of Insignia back when it was located in Charlotte. I was walking from my car to the office and I hear this like flapping sound and I turn around and there's this bird like right in my face, ready to kill me. And
it's called a catbird?
Yeah, it's called I think they're called a catbird. That's what I know them as.
Huh.
Somebody can post comments of what they're really called, but it's not a blue jay. It's not a pretty blue jay. We do have a cardinal that might show up and he'll land on that. He'll land on that post. That's Michelle's green beans, like right. Golly, I can't point right there.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Green beans. Yep. And then on the other side of my head, right here, we might see a hummingbird.
Oh, it's a hummingbird for you?
We have tons of hummingbirds.
I've got finches. I got a bunch of finches on my fire escape. They're very loud. They make a lot of noise, the finches.
Yes.
A
couple of other things I wanted to mention. One is the number one downloaded episode to date. Take a guess what it is on Podbean. Number one. Which episode?
Kara.
No. She's number one on YouTube right now. So Kara English is number one on YouTube from downloads. The Mel Simpson and Julie Frost episode is number one on Podbean. So well done. Well done.
It's not fair if they just keep downloading it themselves. That's not fair.
You can only download it once.
Mel downloads it 70 or 80 times a day.
Yeah.
She's
getting all of her friends to download. Hey, that's fine. We'll take it.
Absolutely.
So let's see what else. Got that. Oh, yes. So we have a new thing. Oh, Mel is in there. She says, "Oh Lord, we're late." Yeah, you're late, and
We're
you're the
talking
number
about you.
one download on the Podbean on the audio podcast. So we've got only a couple minutes left.
Yes, you will download it 70 times a day.
We'll take it. We're fine. We have a new. So we are promoting a new commercial that is going to appear in our next podcast Monday.
Y'all don't know what you're in for. You have
Do
no
not
idea
miss
what you're in
it.
for.
So this is what happens when David Stringer is on vacation.
Has a little free time.
Oh my gosh, I'm still loving it.
It's real. It's something else.
It's something else.
It's something else.
So you got to check it out. It's a new commercial, and there's a new process. So our sponsor, not new, our sponsor has now given us a discount code. Knowledge Perk has given us a discount code that what you have to do is you have to go out to one of our outlets. So go out to the YouTube, or go out to Podbean, or go out to anywhere else you can find us. And if you say subscribe, take a screenshot of it, post it in. You have to post it in our group, right? So there's a little process here, and then we'll DM you the code, and it's good for 12 purchases, which is pretty good. 10% discount online purchases. Knowledge Perk. So you can sign up for their subscription. You can sign up to just have a bag of coffee delivered to you. 10% discount for the subscription. So that idea, I've got to give a shout out to Mel. Once again, she's brilliant marketer.
Yep.
She gave me that was a great idea, Mel. And so we're doing it, and we got a commercial. It's going to be fun. So check it out on Monday.
And if you were to ask yourself when you tuned into a podcast with one guy who runs his own automotive business and one guy who makes his profession as an actor, you would maybe venture to guess that the commercial would be with the guy who was the actor. But as is often the case on Toilet Paper Fortune Cookie Podcast, we throw you a little curveball.
Little curveball, yeah.
And y'all are going to get to see the stylings.
Look, listen, what's funny about this whole thing is, up until this point in my life, I've always had to be David Stringer, the corporate, business leader, CEO, president, whatever. And I could do some funny stuff. I mean, we've done some funny stuff at Insignia. I mean, we've done some goofy stuff with our videos about the chili cook-off. We did a chili cook-off. We did a burial of Internet Explorer 4.0, which was hilarious. We've done some funny videos that are out on our YouTube channel for Insignia, but I can never be my total creative self. And this podcast is scary because it's giving. I woke up with that commercial in my head. I was like, oh, that's exactly what I'm gonna say. I sat down and I wrote it in 5 minutes. I was like, okay, this is exactly what I'm gonna do.
And you got a partner here who says, "Run with it, man."
I know, it's awesome. Thank you. You're a moron, and go ahead, do it.
First, I think you were shocked when I wrote back to you. I was like, "It's great, genius."
I kind of was. I was like, "Is he gonna like it?"
No, of course.
And I sent it to Ryan too. I had to get our sponsor to agree to it. So he came back instantly. Was like, "Dude, I love this."
Oh yeah. Yes. So I'm glad. I hope people enjoy the episode with Rich. It's great. It's a lot to take in, but it's great. And his Viviana Blanche, Rich's wife, who is equally as successful, believe it or not, texted me immediately and said how much she loved the show. Rich did say, she's quite biased, but she's also brilliant. And I'm sure if he had nothing interesting to say, she would have probably called him out on it. But
it sounds like we should have her on the show too, because
there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. She is working full-time, keeping her division of L'Oreal International up and running and afloat, and apparently has rewritten the book on how to be efficient during such situations.
Nice.
And she didn't tell me because she's very humble, but Rich told me that she is now having memos circulated around L'Oreal wondering how Viviana Blanche not only kept it together, but made a profit during this quarter. and they're using her model around the company on how to do things. So, yeah.
Well,
and I was just about to do a job for her at L'Oreal the week before we shut down. So I'm hoping her division opens up very quickly. So I'll have somewhere to go. But they're amazing people, and I hope people really like it. I really do. It's a lot to take in, but he's a brilliant guy. He's a good man. He's a good father, a good husband, and I'm proud to call him friend. He's a good guy.
Well, we're definitely going to have him on again because we both said, oh my gosh, we could have had that podcast could have gone 3 hours. I mean, just to get into the details of the things that he's doing, how he got there. I love the story that he told of the engineer that was told he was worthless and then went on to do something amazing. I'm not going to ruin it because you should go watch the episode and
definitely do.
His mouth.
Great story.
And it was just such a cool story, and then stay to the end because he absolutely just dropped like a huge basket of wisdom at the very end of the episode about the things that we tell ourselves. I mean, I love that he connected with. We spend so much time telling ourselves we can't do something, and a whole thing about that, and I love that because. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to, and I had the voices. You've got to tune those voices out. I remember early in the days of Insignia, and I think I've told this story before, but I felt like the ladder kept getting higher and higher and higher. And I was on the ladder and I was climbing and climbing and climbing and doing more and more and more. And Insignia was growing and growing. Yep. And I would like envision myself looking down going, oh my God, if I fall, it's really going to hurt. You got to just keep climbing. You got to tune those voices out of gravity and of, the things that tell you can't do something. Because
I think there's two ways to look at it, and they're diametrically opposed, but I believe in both of them. One, it's not the end, it's the journey, which I truly believe, especially in a business like ours. It's not the things you dream of. It's all the other things that you eventually put into a book and go, wow. When we were in school, a lady named Rankin, who's a very famous actress and singer and dancer, she came to school, and somebody asked her about her dreams, and she said, it's funny, all my dreams have come true, just not how I dreamed them. And it made perfect sense, and it's just about the journey. But also, I believe there's a quote from Stanislavski, and I'll find it for next show. When he talks about, he looks back on his life in art, he feels like a prospector. When prospectors went out west, 99.9% of them failed. But it was their quest. It was panning for gold. And then all of a sudden you went, and there's one. So in that respect, it's not about all your quest and all that stuff. It's about that nugget of gold. But I believe both of them. And I believe that both have to be in your periphery if you want to have any kind of entrepreneurial spirit. You have to.
That's awesome. Well, it is getting to the top of the hour. You have to go report from the roof. And this was a great week. We've got another awesome show this coming Monday.
Yeah.
Anton LaPlume of the Side Hustle Band. We're having him on. Such a great entrepreneur. I mean, he's a great musician, but he's a great entrepreneur as well. So tune in Monday where the episode will drop about 6:30 again. Look forward after dinner on Monday, and then we'll be right back here July 3rd for a recap and live right before 4th of July. So be safe out there. Stokey has got to go report from the roof.
It's dwindling.
Love you all, appreciate you all, and have a great rest of your week.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.